if you're hoping for the exact same sort of thing there, it's never going to translate to a Puma, from a Nike SB Dunk to a Puma. Hey, what up, and welcome to another episode of Creased. On today's episode, we're going to talk about collabs. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. There's usually a reason why they don't. I've broke it down into 3 reasons with a bunch of examples, so let's get into it. First reason, I feel like, is just because they're banking on someone that they feel like is going to have that type of pull, and they just don't within the sneaker world. We've seen this recently with Beyonce. They've given her a whole line, and Adidas has come out recently and saying it's costing them super money to keep this going. If you go to the outlets anytime, you're seeing Ivy Park stuff, 100%. Now, is it because of the price point? Like, the price point is nuts. Some of the shoes, like you'll see an Ultra Boost, is usually this. Ivy Park's like here. The stuff is pretty ridiculous. I don't think it relates to your common person. But the other part of that too is, like, if it's not as exclusive, not as fancy, not as important, people don't really care. It's just something they see. That can be said with the Drake Nocta stuff. Like, none of that really. I guess the first pair of the Nocta silhouette, his silhouette, there was that initial, people went out, they bought it, everything like that. Cool, then they brought out another colour straight away. They sat. I purchased them myself. They've brought out several colours since, still sitting. You can get them for retail right now. The clothing, not so much. The clothing with the Nocta stuff tends to sell out. I think that's a little bit more limited than the shoes are, but even then, I feel like that's more limited than the Ivy Park stuff. But the Ivy Park just sits, outlets, everything. I've never seen the Noctas at outlets, but definitely Ivy Park. This has also happened in recent times with Billie Eilish. Again, huge artist, just like the other two are, but for whatever reason, it's just not translating to the sneaker world. I've seen those Air Force Ones, whether it be the highs or the lows, at the outlets so many times. At one point there, the lows were there for $65, didn't have my size. 2 weeks later, they got my size, it back up to normal price. Well, $150, where normal price I think was like $200, but it's just not translating. I'm pretty sure they're on even the Nike website, which is the biggest indicator that it does not translate. You see that with Kendrick Lamar. His stuff sold out. It was a little bit more exclusive, a little bit more low-key. Probably fits that collab sort of steez a bit more, but no one's talking about them. No one's saying these are a classic. I never see people wearing them. And they didn't sell out right away, if you're talking about the Reacts. I think the Cortez did, but not the Reacts. So whether it's they're not able to create that buzz, create that importance on this collab, sometimes when they just overestimate a person's reach within the sneaker community, it just doesn't work. The other reason, second reason, is when they just try to milk a collab. Like, they've had so much success that they're like, alright, let's see if it works on this silhouette, where traditionally that silhouette wouldn't be as interesting. Maybe a Travis Scott with the Trainer. Yeah, Trainer 1. Is it Trainer 1? I can't remember what it's called. But, you know, those things with the foreskin on the front, that didn't work. It just did not work. They were sitting in stores for ages. I could have caught for retail like a month after. I'm pretty sure if you go on Sneaker Dunk right now, you'll get them for cheap. Same with Sakai Blazers. The Sakai Blazers with the... Mate, they're in the outlets right now. And they came out like a year, 2 ago. It's crazy. Union. You got the Jordan 1, you got the Dunks, all that goes well, and then they go, alright, let's see what we can do with the Cortez. Under retail on Sneaker Dunk. Crazy. And I'll be honest, I think there was one colorway I didn't mind. But me myself, I haven't enjoyed any of the Union collabs. I feel like I like the Dunks. That's probably about it. So even you could arguably say the company that changed the game in terms of collabs, Off-White. When the Off-White 10 came out, you know, the Chicago Off-White Jordan 1, that when I first saw that, I'm just like, man, that just blew me away. I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know if it was real. I didn't know it was so good. They had a crazy run, but then they started doing stuff where like the spikes on the bottom on the Air Force One, or like the running shoes with spikes. He's got a thing with spikes, bro. Did his own silhouette, all that stuff. Sat. I want to say the Air Force One mids, the ones with the spikes, you can still get on the Off-White website right now. You can probably get them super cheap on the secondary market as well. And if I'm being honest, Virgil's gone. Unless they retro something that they've already released, I feel like they shouldn't do anymore. That's my feeling anyway. But yeah, when a brand is so hot that they just like chuck any silhouette on it to try and get it over, doesn't work. The reason I'm doing this video is the third reason, is when a brand has done a collab that's made them super famous, right? And then years later they'll do a collab with a different brand, not so hype. Let's just say it. They do it with, say, Nike, then they go to another brand, doesn't work. We've seen this with Jeff Staple. The Jeff Staple Dunk, there was riots in the street for this shoe. He went on to do the Black Panda, the original Black Panda Dunk, which I felt like is a crazy, crazy shoe. He did the Black Pigeon. He's done New Balance collabs too. That I feel like was a little bit more hype because it was a little bit more exclusive. I think it was released at only a sneaker con or complex con or something like that. And more recently, he's done a collab with Fume. They're sitting in outlets. They're on special at Foot Locker. They're on special on the, you can get them around $100 or under $100 for a Jeff Staple collab. And it's not that they're a bad looking shoe or bad quality or whatever. It's Puma. Me personally, I feel like they look nice. There was one there. Was it the suede? I think it was the yellow suede one. And they didn't have my size. They were on special. Crazy price. I'm like, yep, I'll pull the trigger. Why not? Crazy price. Jeff Staple. It's something to look back in years and go, oh yeah, remember that? But they didn't have my size. The all black one I came really close to doing, but and I still might. If I see them in hand, like I may cop them. But if you're hoping for the exact same sort of thing there, it's never going to translate to a Puma. From a Nike SB Dunk to a Puma, you're talking about an era. An era. That was a moment. This, not so much. And the other part of that is, I feel like Puma released a lot of quantity. And while it is cool that if you were just happen to be a Jeff Staple fan, you can get these quite easily. And they went on sale. But if you're hoping for the hype, perfect example of this, Sean Witherspoon. He does the 97-1. And this was part of a competition where they hit up a few creatives within the scene and they all submitted their ideas and he won. It went on a huge campaign. They commend thousands of dollars. Someone the other day that I follow, like a thrift store, or a guy that goes thrifting and sells stuff, he had a used pair, and he wanted to sell them for like $200-300 or something. And I'm just like, yo, send me more photos. I'm not huge on the shoe, but that would be a steal, right? I want to say it was 200. But you'd have to check the authenticity, everything like that. He's more into clothing. I don't know if you know so much about sneakers. I never got any messages back. Someone probably bought it for the steal that was. But he does that with Nike. There's rumors of a second colorway. There's rumors of another silhouette. All this, and then he just pulls the plug. He cites creative differences. Wasn't allowed to be him. Similar to what Kanye did, but I feel like Kanye's got a bit more pull than Sean Witherspoon. I mean, at the end of the day, you just own a bunch of resale stores, right? Have a really, really fucked up beard. But he goes to Adidas, they unleash him. He can basically do whatever he wants, and he makes some of the worst shoes of all time. The Adidas shell toes with the strings hanging down, the trekking shoe that has its own little backpack, and then when you open it up, it's got Jiminy Cricket for some reason. Then he did something with Hot Wheels, and every single one of those shoes you will find at the outlets. Absolutely horrible. Horrible. Some people like it. Some people bought into the hype initially. I didn't even like the 97 one, personally. I feel like the idea, the concept was cool, but I didn't like the colours of the corduroy. And for me, anti-hype beast, I don't care. If I don't like it, I don't like it. The main reason I did this was specifically this shoe. The Albano Preto SB Dunk. There's a lot of hype for this, which is cool in a way because, you know, it promotes jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I trained for many, many years, and that's why I was led to their first ever collab. Their first collab was with Saucony. These, in my opinion, are incredible. Paint splatter, the 20 different materials, the quality on these are nuts. They're super comfortable, great shoe. They released these, I want to say last year, and then out of nowhere they're doing a Nike SB collab. That's crazy. If you do a collab with Nike, a lot of the time you've got like an exclusivity deal, right? Especially if you're like a Union, a Sakai, Off-White, they've got deals where it's long term. And Albano Preto, they would be in an exclusivity deal where, you know, they can't just come out and do that and then do this straight away, right? Whereas with Saucony, they could probably do that and that's cool, and then they do whatever they want. That may have lifted their presence to the point where they can do a Nike SB after it. I don't know. If you just look at that shoe though, the SB Dunk, for me, and I know they're trying to tell the story of the different belts and everything within jiu-jitsu, but that is a boring shoe. I don't like it. I feel like the hype is only there because they've attached a collab to it. And we've spoke about collabs before, where a lot of the time, if you don't know the brand, you may as well just say it's the blah 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 collab. It doesn't matter. People just go, oh, it's a collab, and they get hype. For me, it's alright beast, couldn't care less. But if I like the shoe, I like the shoe. This is a really plain, boring shoe. Now I know it has the tearaway stuff, but let's be honest, that gimmick is old. Yes, they're attaching it to skateboarding shoes, so you're gonna wear stuff away anyway if you're skating them. Let's be honest, let's say 95% of these shoes that go into the marketplace will not be skated. Skaters never get a chance. Skaters don't know about raffles. Skaters don't know about lining up for shoes. They go into the store when they need shoes and that's it. There's only going to be a little bit of crossover where, like, say myself, I'm a skater. I know other skaters that are sneakerheads, but your core skaters just go in when they need a pair of shoes. Unless you're like local skater Rowan Davis and you're sponsored by Nike SB, you've probably got a couple of pairs of these already. Lucky man. But for me, you could say, because these didn't sell, I think they sold pretty well. For me, I think this is the better shoe. This is the better collab. These went to the outlets though, or went on sale on the Saucony website anyway. and I paid full price, so more for me. But I think that has more to do with the brand Saucony. Not as many people are checking for it as they are Nike. In terms of which is a better shoe, for me it's this, all day. That SB Dunk, even with its connection to Jiu-Jitsu and everything like that, I didn't even go in a single raffle. I don't care about it. Whereas this, I'm probably going to put on to go down the shops right now. But this has been another episode of Creased. Let me know in the comments what you think in terms of collabs. Stuff that works, stuff that doesn't. Maybe the ones that I mentioned earlier that I've said didn't work, you liked yourself. And you're like me. If you like the shoe, you like the shoe. You don't care about the hype. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We'll be back twice a week. And don't forget, I think it is, I've got to double check this date. I keep forgetting the date. Old Man Sneaks is sending me a Stone Island collab with New Balance. I like the 574. I don't like these. I don't like that the Fusion Cell, I think it was called, or something. There's another collab. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. October 7th, Sydney. It's more than just sneakers. I'm gonna go there, pedal off some shoes that I'm not wearing, maybe some other things, maybe some vintage clothing. We've talked about merch. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get it there over the line in time. Maybe. Watch this space. But yeah. Even if you don't watch this, you don't want to say hello in person, whatever. It's just a great day, man. You're going to meet like-minded individuals. If you've made it to the point at the end of this video, it means you love sneakers as much as I do. This is the place for you. You don't have to like buy any shoes when you're there. I've never bought a pair of shoes at an event. It's just purely seeing shoes that are interesting. It's, you know, catching up with people. There's raffles, giveaways, all that. It's just a fun day, man. But October 7th, it's more than just sneakers. It's in Auburn. I'll post a poster here again. I'll see you there. Peace.